Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thanks for watching again and welcome back to our series. We are in the middle of the QuickBooks Online Basics for Beginners series. We are in episode 7 today, and I think I can officially say we're about halfway through. So there's still a lot of really good material and episodes to come, but today we're talking about products and services. So this is sort of piggybacking off of the last 2 episodes. We talked about customers and vendors last episode. The episode before was chart of accounts, and I'm trying to kind of build them on top of each other. It is helpful if you start from the beginning and watch all the episodes. You can still watch them out of order, but like I said, they kind of are meant to be built upon each other. So things we're going to talk about today are what products and services actually are, how they work, and what they actually do within QuickBooks Online. We'll talk about the different types, so service type versus inventory type versus non-inventory type, when you should and should not use inventory within QuickBooks Online, and then within all of that, how to set these things up the right way so that they flow into your financial reports correctly. So first things first, what are products and services? So products and services actually tell QuickBooks Online what you are selling, what products you're selling, and what services you're selling. They allow you to automatically set pricing for a specific product or a specific service. And most importantly, using them will automatically hit the correct account in your books. Because when you set up a product or a service, you're going to assign that product or a service a GL account. You'll probably hear me say GL accounts in this video. And when I say that, I mean any account within the chart of accounts, any expense account, equity account, income account, any of those types of accounts. So GL accounts equal anything in your chart of accounts. So this is really important too. If you take anything away from this video today, let it be this. Products and services are not the same thing as GL accounts. They are not the same thing as your chart of accounts. So they are not interchangeable. When you create the product or service, you assign it to a specific income account or a GL account or category, so that when you use a product or service on an invoice, QuickBooks will automatically post that transaction to the correct GL account kind of behind the scenes. So think of products and services as sort of a bridge between what you're selling and then how it gets recorded on your financial reports. So let's say, for example, you create a service called monthly bookkeeping. The GL account you assign it to is going to be service income. So now every time you use monthly bookkeeping on an invoice, it's going to automatically flow into the service income category on your profit and loss report. One more thing I want to say quick before I transition the screen to QuickBooks is that products and services are not required to use QuickBooks Online. You don't have to use them. Like I said, you can just use GL accounts. So first things first, how do we get to products and services? So you can get there by clicking on the settings gear in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And then under list, click on products and services. And then here you're going to see we already have some products and services set up under Craig's landscape design. So in the first column, we've got the name of the product or service. In the third column over, we've got type. So this will tell you whether it's an inventory, non-inventory, or service item. The next column over is going to be a sales description. The next column is going to be a sales price if there's a sales price set for the item or the service. And then for any of the inventory items, we're going to have an optional column for the SKU number if you want to enter that in, the cost to the company, and also the quantity on hand. Also, if you're using inventory, you're going to see whether you have any items that are low stock or out of stock. That'll show up here. In the upper right-hand corner here, we've got a drop-down arrow if you are just starting a QuickBooks file and you need to import your products and services from somewhere else. You can click on this arrow to import your data. We've got another drop down here that will let you run a report if you would like of your products and services or manage your different categories. You can also manage the categories by clicking on the edit button under the action column for each item. We've got some different options here to print the list of products or services, to export your list of products or services to Excel, or another settings gear here to just kind of filter or sort this list in a way that makes more sense to you. You can add columns, get rid of columns, make your list compact so you can fit more on the screen, etc. So it's just some different options down there. And then the main thing I want to talk about here is how to create a new product or service. So if we click on the new product or service button, we've got some options here. We can choose a new inventory item, non-inventory item, service item, or a bundle. We'll talk about bundle in a little bit. We're going to focus on service and inventory for now. So the first item type is going to be service item. We're going to use this item if we are selling labor or time-based work, bookkeeping, consulting, cleaning services, anything that is labor or time-based. We're going to set that up as a service item. So let's set up a new service item. We're going to call this monthly bookkeeping. We do not have a SKU number because this is a service item. Under category, this is really for organization within your products and services list. If I choose the drop down here, we don't really have anything that relates to monthly bookkeeping. So I'm just going to create a new category. Now under description, we see this option, I sell this product or service to my customers. So should you check this box? Yes, if you are using this item on invoices or sales receipts. So if you're sending your customer invoices, make sure you leave this box checked. This is what allows you to add a sales price or assign an income account. So you'll notice that we have sales price / rate option, and we also have an income account option. If I uncheck this box, those two options go away and I'm not able to add an income account. So I'm going to check that box. We're just going to put a pretend price in here of $50. And then under income account, we are going to tell QuickBooks where to put this product or service on our financial reports. So if I click on this drop down, we're going to see all these different income account types. What I'm going to choose here is services. You can also add in a description of the service or the product that you're providing. Next is the sales tax box. If you are charging your customer sales tax, you're going to make sure you enable sales tax within your QuickBooks Online file when you're setting up your service or your inventory or non-inventory item. Next is the purchasing information. I purchased this product or service from a vendor. Clearly, in this case, that is not true. We're going to leave this box unchecked. So this one confuses a lot of people. So when you check this box, QuickBooks will let you track a cost or expense account right here. It'll let you enter a cost rate, and we saw this on the main page with the sales price, and then the next column over was the company cost. And it'll also let you use this item on bills, expenses, or checks. So like I said, we're creating a service item. We are not going to check this box, and we're going to hit save and close. And here's that cost column one more time. If we were to check that box for we buy this item from a vendor, the cost amount for that item would show up in this column. So now that we have our new service created, if we scroll down, we've got our service income category here, right? This is the category we put it under. So all the different categories are kind of the headers here. We've got landscaping, sprinklers, pest control, and then service income. And our monthly bookkeeping service item is down here at the bottom of the screen. Now let's look at another product or service. Let's look at non-inventory items. This is going to be for any physical products that you sell, but you don't track the quantity for. So it might just be items that you don't need to monitor stock levels for. It might you just don't care how many you have on hand. Maybe you just want to track income and cost and not track by inventory. And this is really common for small business to just track income and cost of goods over tracking actual inventory. So let's say for this landscaping company, we're selling rocks, but we're not going to track the inventory for it. The category we're going to put it under will probably be landscaping. We're going to keep the box checked for I sell this product or service to my customers. We're going to put a price in here of $15, and the income is going to be sales of product income. We're going to leave the tax alone in this case. And the last item at the bottom, I purchased this product or service from a vendor. We are going to leave keep that unchecked because we do not want to track the inventory. So we'll go ahead and save and close. And now under landscaping, we have rocks. We've got this set up, as we can see, as a non-inventory item, and our sales price is $15. We can also see that this item is taxable. The next type of item is inventory item. Instead of creating a new one, we're actually just going to look at an inventory item that's already been created. So let's look at rock fountain, and to do that, we can click on the blue edit button under the action column. Within that rock fountain row, when it opens up, we see the name of the inventory item, rock fountain. We've got a SKU number listed in there. The category is design and fountains. And then we can see that we've got quantity on hand. So we've got 2 rock fountains available. You have the option to enter in a reorder point. So maybe you want to be notified if you get down to 1 rock fountain left. We could plug in that number here. We could plug in that number here. Right now, we just don't have anything listed in there. When you have an inventory item, you'll also enter the inventory asset account. The inventory asset account that this item will show up on under your balance sheet. Next, we have our description, our sales price rate, and the income account, which is the sales of product income. We've got our item showing as taxable to the customer. And then we've got our purchasing information down here at the bottom. So we've got the cost to the company, the expense account, and then it does let you enter a vendor that you buy the rock fountains from if you'd like to. Just to show you what the screen looks like if you're creating a new inventory item, we'll just click there. You'll see that you have the option here of entering in the initial quantity on hand with the date, and then the reorder point like I talked about with that rock fountain. So while tracking inventory is great, and I encourage people to do it if they would like to, I would like to say, and I think this is a pro tip. So pro tip number 1 of this video, only use inventory if you are actively tracking your stock levels. So it's great to want to track inventory, and it can start out great. You can start out strong, but if you are not actively keeping track of the inventory, counting the inventory and entering it into your QuickBooks Online file and making inventory adjustments, that inventory asset account can get out of hand really, really quickly and really make a mess of your books. So only use inventory if you're actively tracking your stock levels, if you need accurate cost of goods sold tied to each sale, and if you're committed to maintaining and updating your inventory correctly and on a regular basis. If you're unsure, you can talk to your accountant about how they think you should handle your cost of goods or your inventory, or you can just start with non-inventory items instead. So let's say you have some kind of package that you sell your customers and it includes products and services. This would be what we call a bundle. And there's a way to enter this as a product or service type in QuickBooks. So if you go to new product and service and you click on bundle, it lets you give a name to this package. So let's just call this design package number 1. And if you'd like, you can put a description in there. If you have a SKU number, you can put it in there. But down here where the products and services area is, this is where you're going to build your bundle. Let's say the first thing in our bundle is the design, okay? It comes with a tailored design to your specific landscaping needs. In this package, we'll say you also get the installation of the landscaping. Add in here that sprinkler pipes and sprinkler heads come with the service. And you also get some kind of ongoing service for your landscaping throughout the season. So these are all the things that are included in this design package 1. Okay, the initial design and planning for the landscaping, the actual installation, the sprinklers and the pipes, and also the ongoing services. And then you can also choose the quantity for each of these items. So we'll just stick with 1 for each. We're going to save and close our bundle. So now when you create a customer invoice for this package deal that you have, rather than typing in all of those individual products and services, you can just go to design package 1, which includes all of these things. You can still change the quantities and the rates, but it just saves a little bit of time. If you're using these different packages all of the time, the bundle feature just combines items for easier invoicing. So let's actually do an example here. We're going to go to create customer invoice, and we're going to use the monthly bookkeeping service that we just set up. We'll use Amy's Bird Sanctuary as our customer. When we scroll down, it's going to want us to enter a product or a service. If I click on product and service and I just start typing in monthly bookkeeping, there it is. And we can see the name of the service is monthly bookkeeping, and the GL account it's attached to is service income. We'll go ahead and click on that. We'll just say we have 2 hours of bookkeeping, and then we'll save and close. So the next thing I want to show you guys is what's happening kind of behind the scenes when you use a product or service on an invoice or another form. What we just did was create an invoice for Amy's Bird Sanctuary for monthly bookkeeping for $100. What QuickBooks does when we do that is it records two things at the same time. It records the earned income, but it also records that we haven't been paid yet. It creates a two-sided journal entry. So it debits or increases the accounts receivable, meaning we're owed that money, that $100, and that accounts receivable is an asset account, so it's showing up on our balance sheet. What it also does is create a credit or an increase to income, which shows up on our profit and loss. We're going to filter the date so it'll just show us today. So this transaction that we created for Amy's Bird Sanctuary is right here. So here's the income on our profit and loss sheet for this transaction. But then the other side of that transaction is going to appear on our balance sheet in the accounts receivable. So if we click on and drill down into the accounts receivable, we should see that transaction down here at the bottom, Amy's Bird Sanctuary, $108, the $8 for sales tax. So another thing I want to say really quickly is that in order to use products and services at all, they need to be turned on within your QuickBooks Online file. Every QuickBooks Online subscription should have the ability to turn these on and to use them. Let me just show you how to do that if you don't have them activated. We're going to go to the settings gear at the top right-hand corner of the screen, click on Accounts and Settings, and then under Sales, in the third section down, we're going to see Products and Services. Right now, we have them switched on. If we don't have them switched on, all that means is you're not going to be able to use products and services within any of your forms. For customer invoices, you'll use GL accounts instead of products and services. And then you've got all these other options here as well, whether or not you want to show the SKU column, whether or not you want to track by quantity and price, and then whether or not you want to track inventory quantity on hand. You'll configure that however you need to for your business. And then when you're done, click on Done so that all of your settings save. I would like to mention or just show you when you're going to use products and services on certain forms and when you're going to use your GL accounts on certain forms. So again, this is going to depend on whether you have products or services set up. But in this scenario, I'm just assuming we have products and services set up. So the first form we're going to look at is a customer invoice. If we open up a customer invoice, we're going to see that we only have an option to enter in a product or service. Okay, there is no separate section here to enter in a GL account. This is going to be the same situation with all of the customer forms. Okay, so if we open up an estimate to send a customer an estimate, same thing here. We have the choice of entering a product or service, and that's it. And it makes actually a lot of sense because if you were to send a customer an estimate, you probably would want to convert that into an invoice at some point in time. And so by doing that, the forms need to be similar type. Next, if I open up a customer sales receipt, we're going to see the same thing. We've only got an option to enter in a product or service here. There's no other section for GL account. Now, if we go to the vendor forms, let's start with an expense. What we're going to see here is we've got an option to enter our transaction information either by GL account. So this is all of the accounts within the chart of accounts, or we can enter in the product or service. Okay, so we can do either or. If we go to check, which is also under vendor forms, we're going to see the same options. We can either enter the information by GL account or by product or service. And this is going to be the same for every single other vendor form. So again, we've got option for GL account or option for product or service. I'll also show you purchase order. We've got option for both GL account or product or service. The next form, vendor credit, will have the same options here. And then lastly, credit card credit with the same options. One last thing, if you open up one of your vendor forms, you see the option for the GL account, but you're not seeing the option for the product or service. All you need to do is hit this arrow next to item details, and then the drop down will show up for the product or service. I know that trips people up once in a while. When these arrows are collapsed, you're not going to actually see the information to enter the transaction information. Okay, so we have officially reached the end of the video. I want to leave you guys with some pro tips though. So number one, you don't need 50 different product or service items. Keep it simple, start small, start with a few, don't overcomplicate it. The next thing is be consistent. So use names that make sense. Use your products and services to help you stay consistent so you're not categorizing things differently all the time. Next, avoid inventory, I would say, unless you truly need it. If you're a small business and you're not tracking inventory, that's okay. You're still tracking expenses. You're still tracking income. A lot of people start out really strong with their inventory. They do really well in the beginning, and then they just stop counting it and stop tracking it and stop entering it. And that's when things can really go haywire. So I would say if the likelihood is high that you might not stay on top of it, just don't even use inventory at all. And then as always, make sure you're reviewing things periodically. Review your products and services, clean things up, remove duplicates, remove unused items and services. So keeping things clean and simple usually lands you in a safe place for staying consistent with how you're tracking. So I think that's everything you need to know about products and services. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I know it's impossible to speak to every single one of you in your specific businesses. So if you have any questions or you're confused about anything, please let me know. As always, make sure you like and subscribe if this video helped you. And if you need any help setting this up specifically for your own business, you can always reach out to me directly for help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, which is going to be, I believe, how to create and send invoices. So stay tuned for the next video, and we will see you next time.